my screen.
Not yet.
Okay. Yes. So we'll start. So I'm just creating a lab 3 demo project.
Ma'am, this is lab 4.
Oh, okay. Let's leave it there. Okay, name is fine. Maybe I got confused. Okay, so um, so I'm just going to create a file, try assignment. Okay, so today's topic of the lab is about blocking and non-blocking assignment and creating a small D flip-flop. Wait, what happened to my mouse? It's not working. Okay, I'll use this. Okay, fine, let's begin. So here we'll see the concept of assigning to variables in a blocking and non-blocking. Non-blocking assignment says that all the assignments which you are doing, they all happen in parallel, and blocking assignment says that first assignment happens, then sequentially the next assignment and the next assignment. Okay. So here I'm not taking any input and output. We are just going to see the waveform created, and therefore I've created a blank module. This is also one way which you can do, and I'm creating few registers. And then instead of any design, this is just a simulation based work. So I'm going to have a simple module similar to a test case. Okay, so I will have an initial, begin and end, and I'm going to assign a, the variable a, to some value, which is a binary 1. And I'm going to assign b also a binary 1. So this symbol which I have shown here is a non-blocking assignment symbol. The less than and equal to. So the arrow type of symbol is non-blocking. This says that both a and b will be assigned the value of 1 at the same time. And we'll see one more where we are using the normal our usual assignment symbol of equal to. This is called the blocking assignment. This is the module, and then I'm going to generate the waveform for this. Let me go to the simulation, and in the simulation select my Verilog file, and then I would say simulate behavioral model. Okay, so let me come do this and then bring it to the beginning, and let's see what happens. I'll just zoom it, but here there is no change at 0 nanoseconds. Everything is assigned naturally because I did not put any delays. Okay, so we cannot visualize the difference between a non-blocking and blocking assignment in this case, but to see that we need to do some changes here so that I can see the difference. So here in front of, while I'm assigning A, I'm presenting a delay of 10 units, and even here a delay of 10 units. And same thing I'll do here, and let us see the difference which occurs in the simulation output. So I have to first close this, and then let us redo the simulation. Okay, so now if I do it there, let me zoom it a little. Yeah, so if you can see at 0 nanoseconds there is no change. Then at 10 what all have changed? A has changed, B has changed, and E has changed, but F has not, and F changes at time 20. Okay, so if you go back to the Verilog code, you will realize that I changed A and B both with a delay of 10, but because it is a non-blocking assignment, both A and B changed at the same time. Whereas in a blocking assignment, first I change the E at 10, and then the F changes at after another 10. So because it's blocking, first it does the E equal to something, and once this assignment is over, then it waits for another 10 time units, and then it does the F equal to something else. And therefore the F output of F would change after this 10 plus 10. The output of F changes after 10 plus 10 units, that is F will come at time 20, whereas the remaining would come at time equal to 10. So that's a very simple concept of blocking and non-blocking assignment. And okay. Next one is we are quickly going to see how to design a flip-flop. One-bit register. Putting anything here, I'll directly write there. So I have a data input, a clock input, and the Q as the output. And so I'll write input D comma clock and output. So this is a 1-bit register. If you have multi-bit register, then in front of the D, you have to write the number of bits and so on. Okay. So a register, you have already studied in the theory that it works at a clock tick, and the clock, whenever the clock is going high, it should work, or it should work when the clock goes low. So it works on the edge of the clock. Now, how is this indicated? Using the always block. So I will say always at positive edge of CLK. So always at positive edge of the clock, we have to do something. Whenever the clock goes high, what are we supposed to do? Assign the input coming to the output. So just do Q equal to D. That's all. Clear? So let us do the simulation of this quickly. I'll just to do that, I'll set this as the top module. Sorry, synthesis.
Ma'am, can you explain the always statement?
So the always statements, always at, so this at is saying the list of parameters, and then I have pos edge, positive edge, otherwise you can say neg, negative edge. So the other option is neg, negative neg, edge, negative edge. So either at positive edge or at negative edge. So if it is a positively edge triggered flip-flop, you have to say pos edge. If it is a negatively edge triggered flip-flop, you have to say a neg edge, and then give the variable. If I just want to do this every time D changes, okay, suppose I wanted to assign whenever D changes, so I will say always at D. Okay, this says that no matter what the clock is, whenever D changes, just copy it to Q. So this list of parameters tells when should the statements inside the begin and end should execute. Okay, so when should this all get executed is indicated by the always statement. Clear? So if you have any other conditions which you need to check, then you can add them in this list. Okay, so let us see the design, which should be very straightforward in this case. View RTL schematic. Okay, something went wrong. Okay, I have to because this is a procedural assignment. If it was using ASSIG and assign statement and not a always statement, I could have written the code as it is all right now. Because the Q would be synthesized as a wire. But right now, what am I doing? I'm writing always at something Q equal to D. So whenever this condition which I've written in the always statement, right, this part, if this positive edge does not come, what should the circuit do? Okay, so when the condition is not satisfied, it should hold the previous value, and therefore the previous value needs to be stored in a register, and therefore the output Q has to be declared.
Excuse me, ma'am, you are not audible.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
Your mic is closed. Mic is on.
Somebody muted me. I did not mute myself. Okay, anyways, this is the synthesis. This is a very simple one, a register, D coming in, clock coming in, and then copy the D to the Q whenever the clock goes high. And if the clock is not high, then whatever is the old value is retained. So therefore this box says that this is a register design. You can go to the synthesis report and quickly check what it has designed. So let's okay, here you can see in the synthesis report, it is a 1-bit register. Okay, so now once we have seen this, we'll try to generate the test bench for the same design. So add new source. Right. So this is the template which it gives us readily, and the clock actually has to come as a square waveform, and it is difficult for us to always assign clock 0, clock 1, clock 0, clock 1 after a particular delay. So what we'll do is we'll have another initial begin end block for doing this. I'm going to delete the clock equal to 0 from this place, and for that I'm going to add another initial begin end at the top before this. Okay, so I will say another begin and end, and in this block I will add the clock. There is some delay in my typing and the delivery, so I'll just wait for a few seconds. So delete the clock from that part, and then we'll have another initial begin and at the top for doing this. So in this now I want the clock to take the opposite of the clock. Okay, so I have to toggle the clock, and you cannot toggle this instantaneously. So you need a delay, which is the clock period. So I will add #5 before this. So I will say clock is equal to tilde clock, and do this with a delay of 5 units. Okay, and this I want this to happen forever. So I'll write a keyword forever here. So if you write this 3 lines at the top of the test bench, this will generate a square waveform for the clock signal. So we are done with generating the clock. So the clock will keep coming. Now let us add some test cases here. So I'll make d equal to 0 initially, then wait for 10 time units, then I'll make d equal to 1, then I'll wait for another 30 time units, and then make d equal to 0. Okay, so simple. And we'll then generate the waveform. So I simply wrote some test cases, and we'll go to simulation, register, and simulate behavioral model. So now slowly from this lab, we are moving towards sequential design. And now let's see what has happened. Oh, something went wrong. The queue could not get assigned. The clock also did not come. Let me check.
Ma'am, we didn't initialize the clock.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. Yes, I removed it from there, but I forgot to put it here. So clock has to be equal to 0. In the top part, you just put clock equal to 0. Thank you so much. Okay, so here we are. Let's see the waveform. Initially, the Q is don't care. So that's red in color. Then the clock waveform is 0 in the beginning. After 5 nanoseconds, let me zoom it a little. There it's better. So at 5 nanoseconds, clock goes high, and at that time, the value of D is 0, and it gets copied to Q. So Q becomes 0. And Q remains 0 for a long time, because even if the D changes at 10, so D changes at 10, but at that time the clock is not high. D is still 1, but clock is not high. And when clock goes high the next time, the D is 1, and that gets copied to Q, so Q becomes 1. Okay. So you can try to trace that.
Can you explain one more time?
Sorry, can you repeat once more?
Can you explain this part one more time?
Okay. Fine. So this waveform, you look at the clock signal. The clock signal is a square wave which we generated from the initial begin end. So it is clock is 0 for 5 units. Then it is high for 5 units. 0 for 5 units, high for 5 units. Okay, again high, low, high, low. That's how it will move. Next, look at the D signal. The D signal is 0 in the beginning, and I have kept it 0 for 10 time units. And at time unit 5, when the clock goes high, look at time unit 5. When clock goes high, the D is 0. Okay, the D is 0, and that D is copied to the Q. So Q becomes 0 at time unit 5. And it remains, the D and Q remains same because D is copied. And then the Q, you keep on looking at the Q waveform. The Q waveform is low up to 15, even if the D has changed at time 10. So at time 10, I made D equal to 1. And now this D will be copied to the Q only after the clock comes, because my code was at positive edge of the clock, copy the Q to copy the D to the Q. So when the positive edge of this clock comes here, this is the time unit 15. When clock goes high, that time the D, which was 1, gets copied to the Q. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, so you can experiment like this. And coming back to the Verilog file, here if it is, wait, I'll wait for the screen to change. So this was a 1-bit register. If you have a 4-bit or 8-bit register, you simply have to give the number of bits as part of the data structure, and then you are through. Okay, so this is how we can design a single, and then you can add multiple flavors to this, which we will do during the lab. All right. So for the assignment today. Stop the screen share and we'll discuss the assignment. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. I was muted at the system level. I'm just juggling with 2 systems to try to do the best work here. Okay, so we are back to this white screen where I'm going to explain you something. Okay, so we have just now designed a single bit flip-flop, okay, as part of our demo. And now I'm connecting 3 such flip-flops in a straight line. Okay, so this way we are going to supposedly create a 3-bit register or a 3-bit shift register. So I have these 3 boxes, and the first box's output is Q0, this is Q1, and the third box's output is Q2. And the corresponding inputs are, so this is actually D0, D1, and D2. Okay. And now this, on the left hand side, I have put a small a, which says that A is the external input, which is connected to D0. Okay, it's connected to the D0. So you already know how to design the Q-bit register, right? This is single bit register, you already know how to design, and I'm connecting the Q0 to the D1 of Q1 and to the D2. So this is how the design will be done. So you have designed a single bit register. To do the 3 bits, you essentially have to copy the A in the Q0, and then you have to copy the Q0 in this, and then this into this. Correct? You have to copy them successively. And we have seen the copying can be done either as a non-blocking assignment. So I can say A equal to 1, or I can say A equal to 1. Okay, a blocking and a non-blocking assignment you have seen. Here in this design, there are 3 assignments. First, this is one assignment, this is one assignment, and this is one assignment. You have essentially 3 assignments to be done. First assignment. Then this is the second assignment when Q0 passes there. And the third assignment is when Q1 is copied to Q2. Okay, so there are 3 types of assignments. You have to write the code for this, where you mention these 3 assignments as blocking or non-blocking. So first you write them as non-blocking, and then synthesize the design, write them as blocking, and then synthesize the design and see what difference comes. Okay, in the RTL which you synthesize. And again, when you are writing a non-blocking assignment, because all the 3 in this case will happen at the same time, it doesn't matter in which order you write. But when you write blocking assignment, they will happen one after the other, and therefore the order matter.
Ma'am, can you repeat the tasks?
In non-blocking, the order does not matter. So you can try both the variants and then check whether your synthesized design is as expected. All right. So this is one part of your assignment. Is this clear? Ashwati, was it audible properly?
Ma'am, can you repeat
Hello.
the task?
Was it audible? Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Then you. Okay. So now I'll type it in a text box what has to be done for today, so that each follow it.
Ma'am, actually, we got a quiz tomorrow, and today I think the time would not be enough for us to do this assignment also. So can we do it as an assignment like a homework? Hello? Can you hear me, ma'am?
Sorry, what happened?
Hello?
Hello. Yes, somebody was saying something.
Yes, ma'am. I was asking if you can give this one as a homework, because we got a quiz tomorrow and today we gave this quiz, and I don't think we have much time to do this one.
You don't have time to do this one.
I mean, like not. I mean, like it is only up to 5 o'clock. So I don't think in 1 hour we can do both the parts.
But you should have told me earlier. No? I have planned everything. And now, how do we reschedule? Because
But ma'am, the quiz
No,
has
we can
taken so long.
actually we can actually do it like you can give it us as a homework, and then tomorrow we can show it to the TAs. Like in the afternoon, if they are free, we can do something like that.
But will you? When is your quiz tomorrow? What time?
It is in the morning, I guess.
Evening.
Oh, sorry, it is in the evening, so we can do it in the
It's at
afternoon.
6:30 in the evening.
Yes.
Tomorrow 6:15. So why don't we finish this today? Anyway, you will be disturbed to either do it now. Sometimes you have to do it isn't it? If it is tomorrow 6:15, we cannot postpone the evaluation till tomorrow 6:15. You suggested we do it tomorrow afternoon. So anyway, you will have to spend 2 hours on the hardware lab as it is. So that's why I don't see any point in postponing.
So
Ma'am,
you
but
are saying that
tomorrow we have
you can
classes.
send us time to 6 p.m. You are saying like that we can do it up to 6 p.m. Like we don't need to do it till 5 p.m.
Today at least it will be 6 because we haven't yet started.
Yes. Okay, then it is fine, I think.
So my estimate is up to 6 because I had another question which I eliminated because of the quiz. So this is just very 2 small things which you have to do. Okay. So one is this register design. Okay, let me at least explain what has to be done, then we'll discuss.
Ma'am, I have another doubt.
Yes.
In the register assignment, like in the question you have explained in the Jamboard, do we have to assign them with a delay or direct?
Direct assignment.
So no need of delay.
The delay assignment is a separate part and register design is one part. Okay. So I'm just typing it on the notepad here. So part one is to demonstrate the blocking and non-blocking assignment. What I've already discussed during the class. I gave you a demo. You just have to repeat that same experiment with 3 variables. Okay, you attended today's class where I showed you to assign A, B, and C using blocking and non-blocking. With a delay was there, A non-blocking with a #10 and A blocking equal to #10 something. So the same experiment what I explained in the class, you just repeat it, copy paste if you have already done that in parallel. So you just repeat that whole thing and that's all is your first part. Okay, so demonstrate the blocking and non-blocking assignment. A equal to B equal to C equal to, right? And then E equal to F equal to and G equal to. Okay, so among these 3, you make 2 blocking and 3 like this and 3 like that. And then demonstrate in the waveform that demonstrate the delays for generating the output. Okay, so with this you have to understand the concept of blocking and non-blocking. So that's all it is. Simple. Then part 2 is similar to this. So there are 3 small parts, but the first one is just a copy paste of what I've discussed in the class so that you have it on your files. This example is done. In part 2, you have to do the 3-bit register using the blocking and non-blocking. What I explained on the Jamboard. Okay. The thing which I explained on the Jamboard, you have to do this. This is simple extension of your part 1. Okay. So there you have the Q0. Q0 gets the data from A. Then Q1 would get the data from Q0. And your Q2 would get the data from your Q1, right? So these are the 3 assignments which you have to do. Again, blocking assignment, non-blocking assignment, both the variations you have to try. And in also change the order. Suppose I put Q1 before the Q0 being assigned, what happens? So try all these variations and then submit it to the TA, because the TA will ask you if I change the assignment, then what happens and so on. Okay, so that's your part 2, which is a small extension of your part 1. And the part 3 small question is this one, which I was discussing. Part 3, you have to make a single bit. It's a single bit or 4-bit. You have designed a 1-bit register in part 2. Now you extend it to a 4-bit register. You know how to design a 1-bit register. Now make it a 4-bit register, and you have to, we did a write to register when positive clock happened, right? This is what we did. Now the same concept, at positive edge of clock only you have to assign, but your assignment depends on two things: whether it is enabled. Okay, so there is a load signal and there is a clear signal. Clear is like a reset input. So if the reset signal is high, you have to make the Q equal to 0. And this is when, if this is true, then write to the register. If load is true, then you are going to update the value. Otherwise, you are not going to update the value. If clear is true, you have to reset the flip-flop, make Q equal to 0, no matter what the D is. Okay, so these are two conditional inputs which are coming, control inputs coming as part of your module, and depending on what these are, you have to do the assignment. And all these assignments of course happen at the positive edge of the clock. So when the positive edge of the clock comes, you have to check for the load and clear, and I would say this is a reset dominant flip-flop. What does this mean? If the reset is clear signal is true, then you have to forcefully reset it, ignoring anything else. Okay, and you have to only, you are allowed to load it only if the load is true. If the load is not true, you are not supposed to change the value. Clear? Question is okay? So this is what you have to do, and write the test bench and show for different values of load, clear, and D. Clock waveform has to be generated. Test bench, write the test bench and show for different values of load, clear, and the D input. And the clock waveform was shown in the class, and that's all. Okay, so this is for today. After you finish the first two, which are similar, then you show it to the TA. You don't have to show one by one, part 1 and 2 together, and then part 3 later.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, in the reset dominant, like, should it be changing in the next positive edge, or as soon as we trigger the reset to 1, then it should become reset? Good question.
Good question. So this is a reset dominant flip-flop, but let us make it synchronous. That is, it changes with the clock. Okay, so when after the clock comes, then it is reset dominant. If the clock is not present and the reset signal comes, you don't have to reset. What you were saying is also an asynchronous reset, but I am designing a synchronous reset.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So then part 1 and 2 have to be done. So if you start at 16:10, I think you would be done in 20 minutes because simple code, not even 20 minutes, I would say. By 16:30, you should finish this. And then you can start with part 3 in parallel. You keep showing to the TA. And part 3 is again 15 minutes programming, not even 15 minutes. You already know the register. You just have to extend it to 4 bits and then add if and else statements in the always block. Okay. So as straightforward as that. So if you start this at 16:30, max you will be done by 17 hours. Okay. So it's both are 20 and 30 minutes assignments. And even if you finish everything at 5, you should finish your evaluation by 6 o'clock. Okay. So good, best of luck, and then any doubts you can ask or leave the call and start the assignment.
Ma'am, do we have to return some output or just store it in the register? Like we'll give some input, some load and clear, and we have to return some output of the register
you
also.
Have the output. No, your output will be there, the Q, because it's a flip-flop, the Q is the default output of the register. Okay. So you will have 4 outputs, Q0, Q1, Q2, Q3, which is a multi-bit register.
Okay, ma'am.
Got it, right? So you have this is your D, and that's your Q. Q is your output. Okay. Fine. So
and what is the difference of writing delay statement before or after equal to sign?
No, both are same. If it is syntactically allowed, then both have the same effect.
Ma'am, while introducing the delay in the first part, you wrote it after the equal to sign, and while assigning the clock, we wrote it before.
Okay. So in the first one, it was in the always begin and end. So it was a procedural assignment. So it is after the equal to. If it's a continuous assignment, it can be before, because there was no always block and so on. So it's okay. It's the same thing. Actually, it's the same thing. You can write it anywhere. Okay. So let's I'll just stop the recording and you
can you share